Welcome to the Spector Group Digital Media Agency. This is Online Marketing Mastery Questions and Answers, episode number 6. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Daryl Spector, and as always, the purpose of these short videos are to share with you questions that we receive throughout the week that we feel you would benefit from hearing both the answer to the questions and the questions themselves in order to help you on your continued journey to create a powerful online marketing system for your business. So this week's question comes from Foster. He owns a jewelry store, and he emailed in and said, can you give me some tips on what I should consider when looking for a good SEO agency to work with? And honestly, we get this question a lot, and most of the questions that we share in this video are questions that we hear over and over again, which means they are important to the people who are contacting us or are in the market for the services that we offer. So what I did is I threw together some of the top responses, I think, meaning that what I'm about to cover here is actually going to be what most people seem to find most important. So the first thing that I'm going to mention here is what I call a connection or trust with the agency that you're thinking about working with. And so if you cannot have this connection with them or this trust level with them, everything else is going to be irrelevant. Even if you believe or if they tell you they can get you certain results. If you don't believe it, obviously you're not going to work with them. But almost more important than that is the connection that you have with them. You have to understand that search engine optimization is a long-term relationship. So if you can't stand hearing from the person for whatever the reason may be, you despise picking up the phone to talk to them, maybe you just don't like something about them, something doesn't seem right, that is definitely something that I would evaluate in your search, because it is going to be a long-term relationship, and you want to make that something that you actually look forward to, not something that you consider to be something that is kind of a pain to do. So I would put that up near the top. You have to develop a connection and a trust from the beginning with the agency you're talking to. The next thing you might think is kind of obvious, but I'm going to add a little bit to it, and that's the company's reputation or their reviews. Of course, it's good to see good reviews and that the agency has a great reputation, but don't forget there are a lot of people in this particular industry that are somewhat new to the industry, and just because they don't have certain reviews or a certain reputation, unless of course you're reading a lot of negative stuff, doesn't mean that they're not going to be a great agency to work with. Everybody has to start somewhere, and if you develop that connection and that trust that I just mentioned, I wouldn't let necessarily reviews or reputation, unless you find them to be awful, to stop you from working with an agency. So keep that in mind during your search. Now, another topic that seems to be important to people is, can the agency show you some of their rankings, and can they let you talk to any of their, they want you to refer them to somebody, right, that they could talk to about their experience with you. And while that might seem like a great thing to do, you'll probably find that some agencies, no matter how big or how well they might be able to achieve rankings for somebody, they're just not going to share their referrals or what I like to call references for this reason. I'll give you an example. I don't share any references. If you want to go out and you want to do research and find some references on your own, that's great. But the reason I don't share any references is for this. I talk to 4 or 5 people a day about search engine optimization, about the potential of working together. Well, if every day I gave out a particular current client's name as a reference for them to call, so now I have 4 or 5 people a day times almost 5 days a week, right? That's almost 20 people. I can't expect, nor would I expect from you if we were working together, you to field 10 to 20 phone calls a week just to try to satisfy these new prospects and telling them that your experience with me was good. So that is one of the reasons that I don't give out any references for that reason. I just can't expect people to answer the phone and do that for me. That would become a full-time job with the number of people that I talk to. And then the other thing is people always ask, well, can you show me some rankings? And partially that falls over into the references. If you start showing clients rankings that were achieved, you start to reveal a lot of information about them that they may not want revealed. It falls over into they might be contacted. And also, you have to remember the search engine optimization agency, if they were to go out and rank their own website for a particular term so that they could show it to you, that becomes very, very expensive. And I have to be honest, most people don't go on and search specifically for search engine optimization. So a company would go and spend a lot of money to get their website to show up in a particular spot and really not get any payoff for it, because very few people do come on and search the term search engine optimization unless you're very, very savvy about it. So just because an agency doesn't necessarily have their agency ranking top of search results doesn't necessarily mean that they're not a great place to work with, because you also have to remember they might be great at getting their website to rank, but that doesn't tell you anything about their ability to rank other industries, and each industry is different by nature when it comes to search engine optimization. So keep that in mind as well. I also want to mention that I think communication is a very important aspect that you should consider. If once or when you actually contact an agency and inquire, does it take them a long time to get back with you? Do they take several days to call you, to email you back or whatever? Typically, that is going to be indicative of what your relationship is going to look like moving forward. So I would put a heavy emphasis on what kind of communication do you get from the agency. And then the last thing I would add right here is what kind of reporting and data do you get? Most of the data is going to be driven from what's called Google Analytics. We know that. But how useful is it for you? Like what kind of format is it in? And how easy is it for you to understand? For example, we give specific reports that are very user-friendly that point out the KPIs that you are going to be most interested in. You have access to it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't have to wait to hear from us to find out what your statistics are. So again, the connection and the trust that you develop with someone is important. What is their reputation and reviews? What are their current rankings, or can they provide references? The communication that you get, and then again, this reporting and data. And I've kind of talked about, kind of maybe probably put a little spin on why some of these things may not be as important as you think they are. Now, if you have any questions, I'd love for you to email your questions to hello@thespectorgroupdma.com, and we will answer those. And don't forget also to take advantage of our free video analysis. That's basically where we do a video analysis of your current market, your competition, available market share, maybe revenue that you are losing, and things like that. It's a very, very deep dive. We also offer a free website report card. That's basically where you can go. You can enter your domain name, and it is going to tell you exactly how your website stacks up to the competition and things that you can do to it to make it better. So again, this is episode number 6. I appreciate you joining us, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Take care.